All right, I know people get sleepy after they have lunch, so I hope you guys can bear with us because we have an awesome speaker ahead of you right now. Now, if you have ever heard her speak before, then you know, like I know, that she will leave you inspired. And sometimes, you know, we come to these programs and it's always the same faces. And sometimes you come and you're like, you didn't leave feeling different. After you hear her speak, you are going to leave feeling different, acting differently. She inspires so many people. She is a catalyst for change and has been in my life. I consciously try to imitate some of the things that she's put forth in her book. She spent a year, and probably more than that, because it's probably a habit that you can't let go, supporting Black businesses. Just think, if we all just try to support at least one Black business a month, what that would do for our community. So I can barely wait to hear her speak. Her name is Maggie Anderson. She has a book called Our Black Year. But before she comes, again, we're going to have a performance by these babies, and they're ready to go. They're looking at me, smiling, ready to go. So we're going to let them do their thing, and then we're going to hear from Miss Maggie Anderson. Let's give them a hand before they perform.
But if you think that's something, God's chemical laboratory of redemption took my black soul and dipped it in red blood, and I came out white as snow. The angel, yes sir.
I'm so honored and delighted to be with you at the State of Black Shreveport. I'm thrilled, actually, any chance I get to explain and defend why my family chose to make our historic stand, The Empowerment Experiment, the story behind our book, Our Black Year, to defend and explain why my husband and I chose to make a public stand to completely live off black businesses and talent and only buy black-made products for an entire year. You know our historic stand and sacrifice dominated headlines. We're on the front pages across the country, Washington Post, Chicago Tribune, LA Times, USA Today, major segments on CNN, C-SPAN, CBS News, MSNBC, Fox News, ABC News, BET News, Tom Joyner, Black Enterprise, Essence, countless TV and radio shows, newspapers, magazines. We touched millions. So I guess I'm supposed to be some kind of leader now, some kind of celebrity now. I'm here taking calls from Diane Sawyer, Chris Webber called the other day, the White House, and everyone in between about what people call a modern day civil rights movement. But truly, I have to tell you, my friends in Shreveport, we're just another average, bougie black couple. John's a finance guy. He worked his way from Detroit to Harvard. And I earned my MBA and my law degree from the University of Chicago, where at that time the President of the United States happened to be my constitutional law professor. We fell in love while we were in graduate school. Now that's John and I, not the President and I. We bought our pretty house in our nice white suburb. We had our two pretty little girls, and we're living out our pretty little American dream story. So, what made us take on this sacrifice? Why would we give up that picture-perfect, comfortable Cosby life for this life of activism and change? And I mean, really, that's just the way it is, right? There's never going to be an awesome American story like an Ernst & Young or Walmart or Quick Trip or Enterprise Rent-A-Car or Hilton or Mars or Sears or Cox Enterprises or Toys R Us or Neiman Marcus, Goldman Sachs, Hallmark, Dollar General, coming from a black family. These are all just family-owned companies. None of those families stronger than ours. None of those people any more talented than the people in this room. In the Asian community, a dollar circulates among the community's banks and retailers and professionals for 28 days before it's spent with outsiders. For our Jewish friends, they keep their dollar for about 19 to 21 days before it goes outside. In predominantly WASP communities, white areas, if you will, the dollar stays around for about 15 days. Our Hispanic brothers and sisters, they keep their dollar for 7 days. In this community, the community that we've devoted today to, we keep our dollar for 6 hours. 6 hours. That's us. We're the 6 hours. That's not the Klan. That's not Romney. That's not Rush Limbaugh. That's us. 6 hours. The tallest tower can tumble down if it not be rooted in solid ground. So being a far-seeing and practical man, he said, train your heart, your head, and your hand. Your fate is here and not afar, so let down your bucket where you are. That was Brother Langston Hughes in his Ballad of Booker T. That's my favorite poem now. He says, your fate is here and not afar, so let down your bucket where you are. 6 hours. That's how much we invest in ourselves, our children, our future, our neighborhoods. You rolling in a Cadillac. You going to Hawaii, Jamaica this year, 2 weeks? Really? How much is in your bucket? Because that's how you impress me. 6 hours, that's all we give back to our community. I want to know, is that the state of Black Shreveport? 6 hours. I hope not. I hope that together and today, for the state of Black Shreveport, we're going to set our bucket down and prepare and plan to defy and negate the 6 hours. We don't just accept that black communities are poor and run down and that's the way it's always going to be. We don't just accept the bad and sad facts and just say that we can't set our bucket down. Instead, today, starting today, I hope that we're going to try harder, work smarter, do more, pray more, do better, fix what we can, and support in our best chances and our best friends. Those facts, those 6 hours can't threaten our greatness any more than slavery did, or Jim Crow did, or segregation did. All we have to do is let our bucket down. and set to making new facts and new history for our community. We have our Shreveport-Bossier African American Chamber of Commerce. They do a great job of organizing and representing our Black businesses. We got a couple of major business icons in America like Magic and Bob Johnson shining through. We have so many strong and talented entrepreneurs and professionals like the ones in this room, the ones I visited in my past couple of days here, like Miss Irma and R&R and Miss June at Crystal Stairs last night. We got great federal agencies and programs like the Minority Business Development Agency. This isn't new. This focus on Black entrepreneurship, community economics, business and supply chain diversity, community and corporate partnering. We have all of that. We have it now in this room. We have it in Shreveport. But I want to know, what are the people doing? If you tell me that Darren and Tanita got to join one more committee, start one more task force, have one more project about getting our Black businesses more government projects, more government contracts, or getting our corporations to do more business with us in Shreveport, making sure that we're not just in the commercials, but that our businesses are in the supply chain. They have a business incubator that Dan runs at Sussler that gives training and access to capital and opportunities to network, helping the next round of entrepreneurs build solid businesses. They have organized the most outstanding group of talent and professionals offering marketing, financial planning, insurance, accounting, and legal services right here in the Shreveport-Bossier Chamber. They have been hosting events asking you to come and support these outstanding professionals and businesses. So we got plenty of committees, plans, task force, and initiatives. We have all that for our businesses so that we don't have to be perennially poor, and that we can have more power, and that we can have more jobs, and that our community can be strong, and our institutions can be strong. But what, again, are the people doing? The marchers changed the world, not the committee that planned the march, not the speakers who preached at the march. We needed those wonderful, smart people like our organizers today, like Lynn, like Gwen, to organize this event. But what will happen when you don't show up? So I hope we came out to State of Black Shreveport with a few less committees in mind and a lot more marchers. I lived off Black businesses amidst death threats, a dying mother, and a detached and disconnected community, for the same reason that Rosa Parks sat there in the front, resolute, for the same reason that Medgar Evers led those boycotts of segregated Mississippi businesses. I did that because I'm ready for there to be a movement for Black businesses. And now that you have a better understanding as to why I'm here for a movement. I'm going to ask you, why do you think these good people, all of these wonderful organizations, have brought you here today? I know you came here today because you want to say what you say, you want to say what you want to say about what's wrong with Shreveport. You want to ask for help. You want to share your idea. You want to network. You want to support this mission and this event, I hope. But remember what really brought you here and who brought you here. We are here because Black people dreamed, did, and died for you to be here. So today, while I'm here, before I leave, I want you to take a few minutes while you enjoy your lunch to remember that thousands of entrepreneurs were lynched, raped, shot at, and jailed for daring to do what these awesome business owners you'll read about in the book try to do, what I ask all of you to try to do, what these business owners right here in this room do. Like my good friend, I want to shout out Lenora Wilson, who was just with me in Birmingham as we went to the 16th Street Church together. Lenora, are you in here? Stand up, Lenora. We went to the 16th Street Church together and prayed and cried for the 4 little girls that were bombed. And we left there. We left that church. We did the civil rights tour. We did all of that to remember why we are here. And that's why we're here today, for those 4 little girls. So please, for me, while I'm here, take some time to imagine that Black people had their homes and thriving economic thoroughfares torched to the ground, burned to the ground, and then looted in Tulsa, because the people had to be reminded, the business owners had to be reminded that they could not have the privilege of entrepreneurship, of having a self-sustained community. 90% of the lynchings that went around, that happened during Jim Crow and in Reconstruction, were of business owners. They did all that They died so that we can support our businesses today, and we have let them down. So today, I don't want you to honor me. I want you to honor them. Because I want you to imagine, what would they think of the state of Black Shreveport now? Let's think about them when we consider whether it's worth it to pay a little more, or look a little harder, or drive a little farther to support the great Black businesses and professionals that we still have. Worth it to talk to our corporations about supporting your Black chamber. Worth it to tell your children about the other quotes from Dr. King. Don't just tell them that Dr. King was out there fighting so that we could drink where we want, and eat where we want, and swim where we want. Tell them that Dr. King died so that we can build and spend where we want to. Tell them this quote. Tell them what Dr. King said the day before he died. He said, "We've got to strengthen Black institutions. I call upon you to take your money out of the banks downtown and deposit your money in Tri-State Bank. We want to have a bank-in movement in Memphis. I want you to follow what we're doing." Here's talking about the SCLC. Put your money there. You have 6 or 7 Black insurance companies in Memphis. Take out your insurance there. We want to have an insurance in. He said that. I don't know if you understand what I just said.
Yeah.
He died telling us to support these businesses, and we didn't. Now, how does that make you feel? And those businesses, those insurance companies, those banks, they're gone. Do you wonder, like I do, what could have happened had we followed his charge? The better question is, what are you going to do now? Those insurance companies are gone, but Quentin, my soldier here from New York Life, he's still here. Quentin, stand up. He's still here. So are you going to support Quentin? Or are you going to listen to that quote and remember what Dr. King said and not support this brother who is doing what Dr. King wanted us to do, or this sister Lenora? I hope you're on fire like I am to go get an account at a Black bank. I won't embarrass you by asking you how many of you have an account at Liberty Bank, Louisiana's own Black family-owned bank, Liberty Bank, or the Shreveport Federal Credit Union. I won't embarrass you by telling you that I have an account at Liberty Bank from Chicago. See, y'all think I'm playing with you. I got my purse right here, and here is my card, and it says Liberty Bank. I won't embarrass you by asking you how many of you can do the same thing that I just did. I'll just give you some more facts. 1930s, grocery stores represented the largest category of growth for Black-owned businesses. We had 6,400 Black-owned grocery stores in this country. At the beginning of the 21st century, there were only 19 or 20 Black-owned grocery stores in the United States. When the researchers at Northwestern University's Kellogg did the famous study based on my experiment, they could only find evidence of 3 to 11 full-service Black-owned grocery stores in the United States of America. There are 48 Hispanic-owned grocery chains with 10 to 100 units in America. Most of them have only popped up in the past 10 to 20 years. Who's shopping at those stores? Whose music is playing at those stores? Whose products are on the shelves? Who's getting jobs at those stores? Whose kids are going to college from that money? Hispanic children, Hispanic employees, Hispanic businesses, Hispanic products. Good for them. That's what they're supposed to do. Orale lucha. All I'm saying is that we should be doing the same. And if you don't believe me, I hope you'll at least believe Kellogg. Kellogg proved that we have $1 trillion in buying power, and maybe 3% of that goes back into Black businesses. That's pathetic. But they also showed that if the middle class in our community, those folks with an HHI of $75,000 or more, middle and upper class Black consumers, if we're to increase our spending with our Black businesses from 3% to 10%, I'm just trying to get y'all to go from here to there. 3% to 10%, we create 1 million jobs. 1 million jobs with the money we already got, the businesses we already have, the money we already spent. 1 million jobs in our community. 1 million jobs, 1 million American jobs. Buying Black is no different from buying American. It's the same thing. So everybody should be supporting Black-owned businesses. My family can't do this alone. I want you to join me as we do this, but not because we inspired you with our story, not because you think about my kids going without food, without shoes, without toys that year because we did not have a black-owned grocery store. Because we couldn't find a place in Chicago, black-owned, that sold toddler pajamas, shoes, clothes. So we went without that year. I want you to think about that, but I don't want that to be the reason that you do what you're supposed to do. I want you to think about Dr. King, who, knowing he was going to be killed, during his "I've seen the mountaintop" speech, used that platform to urge the community to support black institutions, black banks. Don't just remember that. Don't just feel that. Feel that fear. Feel the fear that he must have felt that day. Imagine how much love he had for his community, how much faith he had in you to make that economic dream his last wish. I want you to feel that today and then do something about it tomorrow. Feel it and realize it by opening an account at that black-owned community bank. Hook up with Quentin or Lenora or one of my 1,100 agents across the country. The reason I love these guys so much is they made a commitment just a couple of days ago to support my movement across the country. New York Life's 1,100 black agents have made a commitment to me to help me get to 20 cities across the country so that I can spread my message. So please, these are my soldiers in Shreveport, and I need you to support them so that we can keep this movement going. We are in the midst of an economic empowerment, financial empowerment movement where black families are building wealth, passing it on, building businesses, passing them on. We've already created $28 billion in black wealth that we plan to put back into black businesses and black institutions. Clap again for my agents in New York Life. And I talk about King so much. People always talk about, okay, King, that was the past, people were getting killed back then, things are different now. But I hold on to my past because that reminds me of how great we once were and how great we could be again. I always bring up our slave ancestors and our freedom fighters because they remind me of who I am. I do it for them, I cry for them, but we also got to do this now for the kids, for the future. They need a movement. They don't have anything to inspire them the way they were inspired back then. They need marchers, not just committees, who are going to support this movement every day. We can tell these kids all day long, believe in yourself, work hard, and you can be whatever you want. Blah, blah. But then they go outside or look on TV and the world tells them different. We got to show them, not just tell them. I don't want to just tell these kids, my own daughters, that they used to be able to go to the corner for ice cream and candy and see someone who looks like them and looks out for them. That they used to be able to own a hotel or a drugstore. Why would I tell my kids that they can own a hotel or a drugstore now when we don't support the ones that we have? Why would I tell them that? Why would I lie to my own children like that? Why would I do that? Because of Sojourner? Because of King? Because of Harriet? Come on now. It's not right. We can't keep telling these kids to look backward or in a book for inspiration. They should be able to look at us right now. They should be able to look at us. They should be able to see what we felt. See when we saw those long lines of people lining up around the corner for us to have a black president. I want our kids to see those same kind of lines again, and not just at election time. I want them to see those lines at Miss Irma's. I want them to see those lines at Crystal Stairs. I want to show my girls those lines for our 10 R&R restaurants, for our black-owned hotels in Shreveport. I want them to see lines of corporate partners begging to join our black chamber because they see that if they want black consumers in Shreveport, they have to do business with black businesses in Shreveport. How are they going to see that if the chamber can't show them that? So I want my children to see those kind of lines, business lines, but we're not as excited about that. You should be. You wouldn't dare be denied that one chance at a black president. You show out, somebody say his name wrong, say something wrong about his wife, but we won't support the businesses that helped Barack get the platform that he needed. We got to show our youth, the world, that our business owners are just as important to us than any politician, even the president, even Barack Obama. We can't keep depending on our figureheads to restore our greatness. He's great, and I love him, don't be confused. I've known that brother since 1995. I admired him as a strong, openly black professor at my very elitist conservative law school. I worked with him at my law school as an officer in our tiny Black Law Student Association. We stayed up after class and helped those people off the street who were victims of predatory lending and racial profiling. We were together on push on Saturday mornings and together at church at Trinity on Sunday mornings. I lost with him when he tried to be a congressman the first time. I was with him when he tried to be a U.S. senator. I helped him win. I passed out the buttons. I had the flyers, the stickers. I'll be sleeping in my Obama pajamas tonight. But our greatness is not in him. I like to tell people about Barack being my professor and mentor when I was in law school. I like to brag about that, and not just because I can say with my true heart and experience that he is a proud black man who loves black people and sees us and embraces us when many in his spaces ridicule and vilify us. That he walks into rooms like this and feels home and feels proud, not afraid or confused or apprehensive. I'm proud I get to say that. But I like to bring him up because I have never asked for Barack anything. I voted for him, I helped him with his campaign. I did that, like a lot of us did, to honor my ancestors and elders, to unite with my community as we decided that it was our time. And I was excited about being a part of history. I did not vote for Barack Obama because I thought that all of a sudden Barack was going to come on some magic sled with a bunch of treats for the black community. I didn't vote for Barack because I thought all of a sudden the black children on the south side of Chicago would stop killing each other with that vote. That all the black families all of a sudden would become wealthy and pull themselves out of poverty. Black schools would all get the endowments that they deserve, and all the drug dealers would decide to go to college, and we'd be able to buy them scholarships because all our great businesses and banks would be thriving. That's not why I voted for Barack Obama. I voted for Barack Obama because I'm black and I'm supposed to. The same reason that you're supposed to support these businesses. You want Southern to be strong and as beautiful as Tulane? Meet with Quentin or Lenora, talented black professionals who will show you how to put a little money aside in the estate that only they can help you build, and you can make sure that when you die, you give a piece of your money to our great black institutions. You want jobs? Don't ask Barack for jobs. Go to your chamber. The chamber creates jobs. We went to Crystal Stairs last night. June Phillips employs 11 people who would not have jobs otherwise. That's a black family business. Top quality business. If she had 5 more locations, maybe that would be 60 jobs, 80 jobs. But how's she going to get those 5 locations and create those 60 to 80 jobs? You think these banks are lining up for Miss June to help Miss June create an entrepreneurial legacy? You think they're going to give her a loan when they know about those 6 hours? Let a white person come up to a bank in Shreveport and say, I want to open a Red Lobster in a black neighborhood. That person will get a loan on the spot. It makes sense. I'd invest in that business. That business is going to be booming. Red Lobster knows that, the white owner knows that, and the bank knows that. If you want jobs, invest in the #1 job creator for black people, black businesses. June Phillips, Miss Irma, Quentin, Lenora, and when their businesses grow, they will have the capital to reinvest and grow their businesses. Barack cannot fly into Shreveport on a magic sled and drop hundreds of millions in wealth and 3,000 jobs under our trees. You have to change black Shreveport by joining an economic empowerment movement. Our greatness is not in Obama, and as much as we love him, we have to do this ourselves. He needed to depend on us for that victory, and now I need to depend on you for this Shreveport victory. I'm going to put it like this. Having a black president is amazing. We know that. But why is it that our greatest economic achievement is how wealthy we keep the Polo, L'Oreal, and Walmart families? We got to stop settling for some commercials with our beautiful black people in them, our beautiful music in the background, and our beautiful kids dancing around, so happy to be using their products. A cute ad is not an investment in your community. Those commercials do not create jobs, especially since they don't use black ad agencies to create those commercials, and they don't put those commercials in black-owned media. Is unemployment down for black people and local school systems in black areas better funded because they show happy black families on those boxes? Are your people prospering now because Queen Latifah and Halle Berry are cover girls? Magic Shade, Dark and Lovely, Roots of Nature, Let's Jam, Spoken Ways, Carefree Curl. All those brands, the brands that only black people buy every day, are owned by L'Oreal, a white company based out of France. And guess what? L'Oreal has plenty of black buyers. Us, L'Oreal has no black suppliers. I'm trying to teach y'all something today. I did my research. All of those brands, all of those billions, and no black businesses contributing to the distribution or manufacturing of those products. Even though Beyonce is a spokesmodel. But they just included supplier diversity, meaning the mission statement, the picture that they put on the website with the black hand and the white hand together. That's what they just did in 2011. Still no black suppliers. And I don't do this to dog out L'Oreal. What good would that do? I'm trying to show you the opportunity. I'm trying to show you the power, the new path. You got to see power in these numbers. You got to be conscious of where your money is going and what it's doing. Professor Maggie does her research, and I'm going to give you a little bit more. 60% of Hennessy's sales come from the black community. 60% of the money that Hennessy makes and takes back to France comes from our black people. They won't even tell the Wall Street Journal what the number is. My research says 60%. Wall Street says 80%. 80% of their money comes from us. And with that company totally depending on the black community to survive, they do not even have the supplier diversity mission statement. Nothing that Hennessy does benefits black businesses. They give to a couple of organizations. They throw a party at the National Urban League National Convention every year. But you know what that means to me? Hennessy is partying with us. They're not doing business with us. With that kind of money, there should be Hennessy hospitals in Harlem. There should be a new chemistry lab at every HBCU. There should be a new Sussler Entrepreneurship Center, and I should be teaching at it. Yeah. All that money, 60 to 80% of their revenue. Seriously, there should be several accounts at several black-owned banks. There should be dozens of black Hennessy distributors and significant advertising in black-owned media. And you know who can make Hennessy do right by us? Nobody but you. We can make Hennessy do right by us if we get behind our black chambers. Our communities now are only going to be as strong as our chambers. I need y'all to remember that. Our churches are our backbone, but the communities are only going to be as strong as our chamber. If this chamber had 2,000 members and professionals and corporate partners and local businesses, Hennessy would pick up the phone today and call Jonathan. And then you'd see Hennessy having more black distributors, more money in black-owned papers. Y'all still ain't feeling me. Y'all still ain't feeling me. I hope you need to, I'm trying to give you the numbers, I'm trying to give you the history, because these are not popular conversations to have. Yeah. Trust me, it's not easy going around the country telling people to not buy Dark and Lovely and to stop drinking Hennessy. It's not an easy job to have. But at least I got y'all listening. I'm not telling you these things to dog these companies out. I just want to show you the power that we do have economically, financially. Hennessy is thriving because we don't have the time to look for heritage-linked brands. Heritage-linked brands is a wonderful black-owned wine available in mass retailers all across the country. Husband and wife team, Carrie and Selena Cuff, Harvard MBAs, gave up their lucrative corporate careers to start this company because they went to South Africa and they learned that the $3 billion African wine industry, only 2% of those companies are black. So they decided to start their own company. And now that company is the largest company importing black-made African wines. And this wine, their wines are available in 3,500 outlets across the country. We all up on Hennessy, and we need to be up on heritage. Let me tell you about heritage. I buy one of my wines, it's called Seven Sisters, from my local white grocery store, Jewel, right there in Chicago. Seven Sisters is named after the Brutus sisters. The Brutus sisters were forced to leave their home in South Africa because of apartheid, because of the violence of apartheid. 20 years later, these sisters came back, and they started making fantastic wines. These wines are available in my grocery store. My favorite one is called Bucatrabe. I get it at Jewel, and I buy a lot of Bucatrabe. A lot of Bucatrabe. I drink a lot of Bucatrabe, because you know I'm trying to help Selena and Carrie and help these 7 sisters in South Africa. That's why I buy that wine. But seriously, you can buy the wine too. Is that crazy? Am I crazy for asking y'all to do that? Am I being unreasonable today? Because they called me a radical for asking you to buy that wine instead of buying Hennessy. They say that I'm a militant because I'm asking you to buy Luster's instead of buying L'Oreal. Luster's used their money to bail Dr. King out of jail. Black family Chicago business, they're the reason that Harold Washington became the first black mayor of Chicago. And is it asking you too much now to go and look for Luster's and buy Luster's in their honor? Is that too much to ask of the people of Shreveport who came out on a Saturday afternoon to discuss how we're gonna make Shreveport better for black people? I know I'm hard on you, I know I'm asking a lot of you, but this is my life. I share my story, I give this information, I present the possibility. So it breaks my heart, because after all this, the first thing you're gonna say to me that it's too hard, that you're too busy, that black businesses ain't no good, or because I'm not moving in with you to personally escort you to every black business in Shreveport, that you can't do it. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of things I need you to do, because I believe in Shreveport, because I have some great friends here who've told me I should believe in Shreveport, that Shreveport is different. You have your Shreveport Bossier African American Chamber, SBAACC.org. I go there, you should go there. They have a list of great black-owned businesses right on the website. You have 2, from what I understand, black-owned beauty supply stores. One is right next to R&R, right? Am I right? Yes? There's a beauty supply store there? Somebody say yes? Yes. Yes, okay. You don't need to go anywhere else than that place for your beauty supply needs. I need you to open an account at Liberty Bank or at Shreveport Federal Credit Union, even if it's a little one. Even if you already have one at Capital One or at Regions, that's fine. But you have to have an account at a black bank or a credit union. Your children need to know that you have an account at a black bank. Those banks used to be and can be again the backbone of our community. They killed King because of the banks. Number 4, you don't spend your money at any other McDonald's except for the black one in Shreveport. Make that your family McDonald's. The Griggs McDonald's, I don't know where it is. You haven't taken me to the McDonald's yet.
13.
He has 13? Okay, great. You have choices. But let me tell you, and if you want to go to another one, this is all you have to do. When you go, the next time you go to that Griggs McDonald's, buy a gift card, $20, $50. So if you're not near a Griggs McDonald's, you've already put your money into that black family-owned business so that he can have 26 or 39 McDonald's. Buy Ciroc, stop buying Hennessy. Buy Luster's, buy Sean John, very easy. You can buy all his stuff at Macy's, that's what my husband wears. Easy, available at mass retailers. Make sure that your family has insurance, real insurance, so that we can get out of this cycle of poverty. We need to create wealth and keep it in our community. We got Tina Martin, she's not here today. We got Lenora right here. We got Quentin, they're on my team. We're already on our way to announcing $50 billion in black wealth. I can't do that without you. So here are some tips. You can't tell me that it cannot be done. It's not that hard. Do some of that and you'll see a new black Shreveport. We'll feel the power of a new black Shreveport. Don't think about all the reasons that you can't do it. Think about all the reasons that you must. Yes, because you are black and because you've been blessed with such fantastic opportunities in your life, you have powerful positions and knowledge, you're different. You're special. We expect more, we demand more, and so does everyone else. I'm asking you to be proud of that burden that you have. I want you to beat that burden. I want you to boast that burden. I want you to be blessed by that burden that you have. Make it your beautiful black burden. Make that your awesome black blessing, like I have made this movement mine. Like Quentin and Tina and those 1,100 black agents have made this movement theirs. Like Jonathan has made growing black businesses his. Like Darren has made making black businesses a real presence in Shreveport and in corporate America his. You gotta beat that burden. You gotta be blessed with that burden. You have to try. You gotta start. And you're not gonna see the world change. I am not a magic man. I'm not gonna sell you that. But you will start to feel it. Every week, we look at our receipts that we put in a little envelope we still save our receipts. Even though the study is over, we still save our receipts, like we did during the experiment. It could be the dry cleaner receipt from our black dry cleaner, $5 from the black-owned McDonald's, $40 from the black-owned gas station, my receipt from Kara or Corey's dance studio for their ballet lessons, or maybe the deposit slip at Liberty. But when we do that, at least right then, all of the anger and the sadness kind of fades away. You will feel it when you make sure you stay at a black-owned hotel. Promise you. You sleep better. The soap smell a little better. The coffee gonna taste a little better in the morning. You'll start to feel it. You'll feel it. And the pride that you have the night before you set an appointment with one of your outstanding black accountants here, your black lawyers here, my black agents here. You will start to feel it, but you won't start to feel it until you start doing it. You'll feel it when you join my black chamber here. You'll feel it, and you'll see Shreveport get better. And when we do that as a movement, we'll start to talk differently, see ourselves differently, be perceived differently. Our kids will see and do better. We will change Shreveport, and then we'll change Atlanta and Cleveland and Chicago and this country. I'm gonna just tell you like this. You can go to a black church, you can be a part of 100 Black Men, National Black NBA, you can vote black, get elected black. But the blackest thing you can do is be black with your money and your influence. And I know I'm being hard on you. No. That's my job. Ain't nobody gonna fire me except John Anderson, and he ain't that stupid. I know I'm being hard on you, but I want you to imagine the anguish I felt when I had to tell my children no. When I had to tell my spoiled baby girls no for the basics like shoes and toys, fresh meats and produce, as we tried to defend a concept that they were too young to understand, not because we couldn't afford something or they didn't deserve it. But I put them through that because I love them. And that's how much I love you. I love you. That's why I'm asking you to make these sacrifices, to take on these challenges and see things differently. I love you. I want you to feel some pain and understand your duty. I want you to do that so that you can come out stronger and smarter like me. I want you to do that so that we can prove the world wrong about us. I love you. And if you love me, if you're proud of me, don't thank me, show me. Like I showed you then and like I show you every day. A couple of months before I did the empowerment experiment, my mother got real sick. My mother is my best friend. She had pancreatic cancer. So I was determined to shut this whole thing down. But Mima did not let me. Mima was a brilliant woman. She's the one who taught me that our being Cuban and our speaking Spanish didn't make us any less black than our brothers and sisters in Soweto, Africa. Mima just taught me that just meant we just got dropped off a little early. That was my mother. So she wouldn't let me shut down the empowerment experiment. I was out there fighting for this when I should have been home fighting for her. When I should have been the dutiful daughter, cleaning her brow, feeding her, giving her her medicine, staying up with her and cuddling with her those nights when she couldn't sleep through the pain. But I gave her up for you. I gave her up for this movement. And Mima didn't give up. They gave her 2 months to live. She lived 16 months with pancreatic cancer. And she died in my arms 1 month after the empowerment experiment. And she did that to give her last bit of strength to me. But I still cry and I wonder, was it worth it? That was my black year. The last year of my mother's life, I gave up for this. And I wonder, was it worth it? With all my degrees and all this I've learned, is it worth it? Is anything ever going to change for our people? Because no matter how many studies we produce, how many facts I give you, no matter how much I show you for certain that everything could change, maybe my people just aren't going to support each other again. That's how I go to bed at night, thinking about my dead mother and thinking that nothing's going to change. But then I'll come to Shreveport, and I have brothers like Darren, and I have brothers like our host today, these twin brothers who have sacrificed so much to make this happen. They make nothing from today. They do it for us. I think about Lenora and Quentin, who are fighting for me every day. When I think about you, I know that it was worth it. So show me, Shreveport, that it was worth it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, we're going to have a little discussion. If you have any questions, comments, anything you want to share with the group, if you want to go ahead and come to the microphone here.
Oh, I got one thing to say.
Before y'all do some business with New York Life, y'all need to do business with the Cawthorn Financial Group, Municipal Securities, Wealth Management, Retirement Plan. Can I get an amen? Locally owned and operated.
Go hard.
I just have a comment. I've really enjoyed Ms. Anderson being in our city, and she's absolutely correct, because when we had our September meeting with our family about our businesses, my oldest daughter was suggesting that we throw in the towel on R&R Beauty Supplies, because it's not done what I felt it should have done. Basic business rule, 3 to 5 years to be able to support your business, and this is the 5th year. In October, we'll be 5 years old. And I know the guys on the other side of town. I reach across the aisles all the time. Jamal and Jamil run Dollarmania. I don't know the people at A1 on North Market and everything, but you are so absolutely right. Everyone that we employ is black. Everyone that we employ at R&R. And we did these businesses in MLK, which is the second largest predominantly black community in the United States, second only to Harlem in number of black people. So we took our savings, my 33 years with the Cattle Parish School Board, all of my monies, and put them into our community as a basis to say there are some things that we can do. We can be FUBU, for us, by us, if we try it. But we do need the community to give back to us so we can continue. I had to cut the payroll down, and I did do that. And as she said, when she came into my restaurant, the waitress got sick or whatever. I'm waiting on tables. I got to go back right now. They're cooking for 350 people for tomorrow. So I got to get, because we have something at church. But I'm with you. I just don't know. I hope we see it. And then there were some things, I made some changes this year. My niece and my daughter, they kept saying, we want to do this, we want to do this, and we want to do that. I said, okay, because I put the advertising dollars into radio. But niece said, let's do Instagram. And let's do this, and let's do internet, let's do the website, and let's do it. And I said, okay. I said, we're going to ease that on me because they cost dollars that I have to invest in. But we are doing it. I said, do or die this year. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Frances Washington, and I enjoyed your speech, and it's true. I come from a poor family, raised by a mother, and she taught us that the key to getting ahead is education. She didn't get an education. She learned how to write and spell with me, her last child. I moved to Louisiana from North Carolina, Fayetteville, and I've been here ever since, so I call this my home. I volunteer for the Learning Center across from the Social Security office because we're working with pregnant girls that don't know how to raise their children, don't know how to take care of their children. But one thing I do know is that the blacks, they might have these businesses here in Shreveport, and when I go in a restaurant, I look to see how many black waitresses, who's cooking, or how manable they are. Our blacks need training. Even if you're going to be a waitress, you need training. Because the first thing that I notice is when you come to my table and you say, can I help you? And never come back, you don't get my tip. And if that tip comes out of my money, when I go to pay for my money, I ask for it back. Because I need a person that has a good personality and know how to carry themselves in public. Your businesses, I have been trying to get insurance. I'm too old to get insurance because the insurance that I had, it stopped after I turned 65 and it started dwindling. So I'm looking for a life insurance policy for me to get in so that when I die, I can leave something for my girls. So I had Life, New York Life, but they couldn't offer me nothing, so they say. I don't know. But I was talking to a black owner or salesperson. So your insurances that don't cover people that passes 65 don't help people that's past 65. So I had a choice. I had to go head on and pay for my funeral, save it, which is very hard to do because you cannot save with minimum wage. I'm retired from the state of Louisiana, and Louisiana do not pay money. So I'm with anybody that want to take and start a business. My daughter had to move to Houston to start a cosmetology school because she didn't know where to go. And so when she moved to Houston, she started this year to build her cosmetology school and her cosmetology shop so that she can make some money. Because she has a daughter in college, straight A student on the President Road, going to Atlanta this year to be a manure on them or something, making $23. I never made $23 in my life now. This girl is 20 years old and this summer she's gonna make $23 an hour because she's determined that she didn't want her mother to have to work all of her life to take care of them. She's done her part. But when you talk about businesses, I'm computer illiterate. So if you put it on computer and my son come home and say, Mama, you got 16,000 emails. So, what do that mean to me? I can take classes, but you got to find a way to get this information out to the black neighborhoods. I don't care what you do. If you write a sign up and put it on the corner, I'll read it. And I'm going to find it. But if you put it on internet, you lost me right there. Because I'm not going to try and find information that I need right now to get what I need. Black products, I went natural because I didn't want to use the white company. I don't like going to Sally Mae's. And when you ask them about a product, they don't know what you're talking about. So yeah, it's time that Shreveport, Louisiana get up off there and do some work to help these people that's starting business, that's working, trying to get ahead. Help them.
Thank you.
Our money spent just as good as any white person.
Thank you.
I don't know if Maggie wants to respond to that, but
Yeah,
people that are coming up.
Jonathan, Jonathan or Quentin or somebody? No, you don't want to respond? I mean, there's a lot of things that the chamber does to address some of her concerns, but I don't know if you wanted to do that.
I wanted to say one thing. I wanted to say, like Maggie said, we've been a couple of places together, and one of the statistics that she didn't give, because she has so much to say, she can't tell it all, but she spent $94,000 in the black community in that 1 year. Now, I think that's just great, isn't it? Now, just imagine if she, as one couple, can spend that much money in 1 year. She's just one, her and her husband. Imagine how much we could pump into that community if we all made a commitment to, just follow her footsteps. And the other thing, like the entrepreneur, the lady that owns the restaurant, another thing they talked about, like I said, she can't give all the statistics, was that most of our black businesses are owned by women, but we're sole proprietors. And if we were to hire just one person, that would reduce the black unemployment by 25%. I think that's so profound. I just wanted to go hire some more people just the next day, So we have to we have to do this. This is a movement. And, you know, the lady talked about the tips. And I know, but we have to talk to our children and teach them to be better. We are going to give them that tip because sometimes it's just called grace. You know, just called grace, you know. And they'll learn because it's up to us to teach them. How else are they going to learn? So some of that falls on us to teach them to be servers and to be the best servant they can be. Like, not Malcolm, I love Malcolm, but Martin said, if you're going to be a street sweeper, be the best. Okay, so I just can't promote Maggie Anderson enough because we love her, and that's why we're sending her around, because we have an economic movement going on. And it's not about social justice, it's about economic justice. And when you start talking economic justice, white people get real nervous. And that's the real reason why some of those before us died, because they started talking about economic justice. They get real nervous. So, like I said, I can't promote it enough. I'm a part of this movement, and I just hope that y'all get on board. Thank you.
We're going to keep moving, but if persons have questions for Maggie, I want you to address those questions. Taper your comments to a couple of minutes. We do appreciate the comments. But I also want to pose a question to her. And I want to preface it by saying this, that in the 21st century, you have to deal with 21st century problems with 21st century solutions. And so the point I'm making is that in a Shreveport, Louisiana in 2015, there are some people that look like you and I that's not in this room that should be sitting in this room. Secondly, there's a culturalization of a mindset that the white man's ice water is better. So when you're dealing with those realities, have you guys developed a networking type of system, a study group, any type of mechanisms that penetrates those issues, because they are essentially the barriers to doing what you're trying to accomplish in the 21st century?
I would say that is definitely the biggest barrier, and I'm just so tickled that you use the white man's ice is colder. That's a whole chapter in the book. I mean, that's the title. I think I don't know if it's, I can't remember what number chapter it is, but it is white man's ice is colder. So I'm trying to use, to the best I can, the gifts that God has given me. And I think what has enabled us to get a little bit of ways with this is that I've been able to tackle this from a standpoint of intelligence, using facts, and using a real life experience. So the way I distinguish myself and the way I think we've been able to touch people is that I'm not just out here talking about what we should do, what we gonna do, what would happen. I did it. So I have that authority that a lot of people don't have. So with that, I do think it doesn't work with everybody, but at least penetrates people in ways that other folks can't, or other movements can't. This movement really is about activism, so I'm always saying movement. I'm not just saying go support Ms. Irma. I'm saying go support Ms. Irma because you're a part of a movement. So that thinking that someone actually did something does penetrate. The consciousness where the other problem though is if people don't have, I can come at people who at least have that black pride embedded in them already, and what our story does kind of lights a spark. But if they don't have that pride, if they're one of these people that hold as a badge of honor that they don't have to support black businesses anymore, or wear as a badge of honor that I get to support white businesses, I don't want to say that they're a lost cause. They're just not my target market. So what I've been able to do, I do have a new target market though that I think can help. So I would say that they're a subset of that group, but they just have a little more power than a lot of people in the group. I'm talking about these bougie folks like me, my Harvard friends, my MIT friends, all these friends that go to all the National Bar Association conferences and the Black MBA conferences and don't spend any money with black people ever, would never do what I do, and that's go out of my way to go into poor black areas to support the local businesses there. That's what I do really all the time. It's my lifestyle. I haven't been shot. Nothing has happened to me. My kids are fine, and those places are great. So, but we have been able to penetrate with them. They do respond to the numbers. They do see that another bougie, intelligent, over-credentialed person is doing this, and that does light a spark in them. And I kind of just meet them where they are. They're not going to do what I do, but they will go to a black-owned McDonald's. They'll open the bank account. They're not going to go to the bank branch like I always do, but they can bank online. They'll ask their people at the corporations that they work for about supplier diversity. They'll make that challenge and say, hey, why don't you work with this paper company that Maggie told me about? I have a great paper company that I always tell my corporate partners to support out of Birmingham. They employ 80 people there. I have tons of companies like that. But they do that part, and it has made a difference. So they do, too, think that the white man's ice is colder. But I think in this movement we've been able to penetrate a little there. Now, for those masses who really, really have just been so victimized, so exploited that they've just lost hope, because that's really what I think the paradigm is, that is converted, all that sadness is converted into self-loathing. For those folks, I think they just have to see it happen first. I mean, I knew that, I could look at Barack when he was just a professor, 33 years old, in my law school, and I can tell that he had greatness in him. But those around me, even my own husband, didn't see it until, he won Iowa, or he won that first thing. So for those folks, I pray for them. I know they'll come around, but it's not going to be until there is an actual movement where there's news segments saying, hey, Shreveport now has a new statistic about Shreveport. Instead of 3% of black wells going into the black community, they increased that to 10%. Until they see that on Good Morning Shreveport, until they hear Tom Joyner doing what he's supposed to do and telling us, hey, how much money have you spent with a black business today? This is Tom Joyner signing out, make sure you support black businesses. Until they see Tom Joyner on the cruise promoting black businesses every day on that cruise, until they see stuff like that, until they see this movement on TV, which it might be, we have a meeting next week with some important people about televising, not me, televising the movement. So pray on that. Until they see that, they're not going to move. Until they see our rap stars, that's why I was talking to Chris Webber. He's not a rap star, but he is an athlete and he knows some of them. He's older like us, but he gets it. Until they see him tweeting about it, until they see his friends and his rapper friends and his basketball friends talking about it openly, those kind of folks are not going to change. So what we have to do is keep using our smarts, our resources, our organizations to put this in front of and make this so strong that people have to pay attention. I tried to come at them first. They were who I went to first, and it failed. You'll read about it in the book. These are the folks I went to the churches. I got them all to get buses and station out into places in the community. I got free radio ads in Chicago and asked them to come with me. Y'all didn't show the video today. I'm hoping that Jonathan and when you'll find a way to show these people the video so they can see my black-owned grocery store. This grocery store is like a Whole Foods. I mean, it's gorgeous. And it was black-owned. A wealthy black man decided, I'm going to let this be my legacy and build a black grocery store in the community with fresh fruit and produce, a deli, a seafood section, a coffee shop. It was perfect. And I arranged for buses for black people to go and just try this store. They didn't show. We had barbecues on 4th of July, free barbecue. They didn't show. Some people showed. For the free barbecue, we gave out coupons. We had him sponsor the, what is it we have every Father's Day? Real Men Cook thing so people could see his produce. Some people showed, and then slowly but surely, they stopped coming. Some people even said they didn't believe it was black. They thought it was a scam. Just ridiculous stuff. And the place closed. It died. Slowly and painfully. There was, aside from my mother losing Farmer's Best, that beautiful grocery store, was probably the worst thing that's ever happened in my life. And that happened because I tried to attack white man's ISIS culture first. I found much more success aligning with people like Jonathan and Darren and Quentin. I mean, that's where my success has been. So I'm going to start with them. I'm going to hook up with them. And I know that I help them by bringing consumers into their movement. The problem with the chambers is that the chambers are strong, they're right, they got the partners, they have every idea. I can't teach them anything. It's that the consumers don't even know y'all exist. The mother who talked about her daughter wanted to start a business, she should have went to the chamber. The chamber could have had her hooked up like that. She didn't have to go to Houston, but maybe she didn't know about the chamber, so that's my job. That's how I complement my chambers. I need to teach the consumers about the resources we have in the community. If the consumers get behind the chambers, then the chambers can get these partners out here to do more, and the chambers will have a seat at the table. There are plenty of meetings going on about these casinos, about development, about all kind of stuff that none of us know about. Billion-dollar meetings happening in this area all the time. The only way that brothers like Jonathan and Darren are going to be at that table is if they think that the consumers are behind the chamber. That's my job, to get you guys to see the value that you have in your black chamber. If we were to get behind our chambers the way we get behind our churches, it would be over. It would be over, and it's not that hard to do. So that's where I go. The white man's ISIS culture, that's my biggest enemy in the world, but we are penetrating, and fortunately God has given me the smarts to find those pockets of opportunity to make it work. And we're going to get Tom Jordan. I know I dogged out Tom, but we're going to get him. We're going to get him. And I have a plane to catch very, very soon, so unfortunately my time is limited. So if we have questions for me specifically, let's get those done, and then comments we'll probably have to wait.
It will be very brief. In the white man ISIS culture, what about the elite black man's ICE? And are you following it?
Mm-hmm. I think I know exactly.
Because a lot of people that I associate with, you know, there's this divide even amongst ourselves, in which some of us, you know, where one person can spend $100, 100 people can spend $1. You still got the same $100. So, have you found any problems or
Yes.
concerning that?
Yeah, I don't want to leave on a sad note, but that's another chapter in the book. It's called PBFs, Prominent Black Folks. And so MEMA, the store, and that's the third highest heartbreaking experience about that year in my life. How I came as, you know, we came at this real naive, nerdy, idealistic. We put a lot of our own money into this to build this thing, and we just assumed that, you know, we really did believe, John and I, you know, if we do this, if we really do this, if we show them a couple, a smart couple with two little girls, you know, out there making this sacrifice, boy, Oprah, she's just gonna be calling us the next day. Denzel just gonna be knocking at the door, because they always talk about how we need more people to do this kind of stuff. So we did it. And we were on TV, and I did put my little girls through that, and my little girls are very cute and pretty, and we did all the stuff. And the way I'm talking to you now, I talked on TV, and we sent them clips, and we asked them for help, and we said, would you get behind this movement? And it was heartbreak after heartbreak. And some of those folks, I'm just praying that maybe just took a little time. It's been 5 years. Our platform has grown incredibly since then. It's been a lot harder than we thought it would be, but of course I'm not going to give up. And I'm thinking that a lot of those folks may not have seen this yet. A lot of those folks, on the other hand, are beholden and cannot imagine. I think it's safer to get behind other black-oriented causes. It's safer, it's sexier to get behind education, mentorship, health. It is not safe or sexy to say, for someone like an Oprah, to get those prominent folks to say, we need to support black businesses. We can find ways to make it more palatable to them. We have to keep presenting the research. We have to keep promoting that buying black is buying American, and that if we care about jobs in America, we need to support we need to go into those places where they hire folks who have the highest unemployment. And right now, black people have the highest unemployment. So wouldn't it be a great American initiative for us to get behind those folks who create the most black jobs? So these are the kind of conversations we're having, but trust me, the white man's ice is colder is not just in the masses with the poor folks who've been suffering so long that they've been bamboozled. It's definitely up there with some of our prominent folks who have just been away so long that they kind of feel like, well, I got mine, so obviously you can get yours. And they just don't, and honestly, because of us, they just don't see the business case for an economic empowerment movement. They have not seen demand for black businesses, so why would they get behind, like any business initiative, why am I going to get behind something where there's no market? Why would I get behind a Black Pages when people are not looking for black businesses? You create a Black Pages, you would have a business case to say, wow, more and more people are looking for black businesses, so I should create a Black Pages to meet that demand. If that's not happening, why would someone with money to invest, influence to spread, invest in that kind of movement? So there's all that back and forth. This is what I dedicate my life to, studying and trying to tackle these issues. But we have to be very smart about it. We can't just complain. I can't just say, Oprah ain't never gonna do nothing for nobody. I made a couple of calls to her office. I don't know that she ever got them. I can just pray that. I was on TV a couple of days ago. Maybe she saw that. I'm going to be on TV next week. Maybe she'll see that. Maybe that'll be that one day. And maybe we can have that meeting. And maybe 5 years from now, this will be a real movement because Oprah and Tom decided to get behind it. In the meantime, again, I got Jonathan. I got Darren. I got some other folks. I got some mayors. I got some couple of celebrities. I got some folks who are ready, and we're just going to mix it up and put it together. And they'll see, and they'll come. That's my answer.
You got a question? We got to get her.
Okay.
We gotta go. Darren says I gotta get home. Okay, one last one, and I know it's my fault, y'all. I talk too much too.
It's okay. I have a quick comment and question. First of all, I want to say I applaud you for what you're doing, because not only are you preaching it, but you're practicing it, and that's a lot of people that say they're going to do this and they tell you need to do this and they don't practice it themselves. So I applaud you on that. My thing is, as a Shreveport native, I talk to people every day about black businesses, and you know, there are millions of excuses on why they can't support them. People have attitudes, or they're not professional, customer service is bad or whatever, but I just feel like we're at that crucial point, you know, being that it's 2015, 2016, new president, new administration. I think we're at a crucial point in for black empowerment, creating a black nation and everything. So I guess my thing is, do you even really think that it's possible to create a black nation within a system that was never really designed for us to even flourish in it? Isn't that kind of like an oxymoron, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I do think that we can, and it will be tough, but I think that we can. All the power that we had realized, I don't say that it was because we were in a segregated context. I know that people say, oh, we had to support each other, that's why we had all those businesses and hotel chains and department stores and all that kind of stuff. I think, you know, some of the ingenuity came out of there because we were forced into this position, but the love and pride is what made us support each other. And so I do think that we can replicate that kind of love and pride and that kind of self-help economics, even though we are in an integrated context and in an inclusive society. I absolutely think we can do that. And I don't think that it has to, I don't think that there has to be, I think the black nation exists, you know, in yourself. All I want is for us to be able to deliver the same kind of dreams and promises that Jewish kids do to their family, Jewish families do for their kids, and Asian American families do for their kids. When by the time they're 5 or 6, they know they're going to be a successful entrepreneur, and that's because the community conspires for their success, because there are Asian-owned banks that have whole departments ready to give money to young Asian entrepreneurs. It's because their father's an entrepreneur, so they know they're going to inherit that business. It's because they have financial vehicles in place, so they know as soon as they turn 20, they're going to inherit $1 million, and they can use that money to go further their education, buy a house, or buy a business. So those kinds of things that come out of Love and Pride, we can absolutely replicate. It doesn't mean that we have to actually physically live together and separate and be a part. You would feel a part of a black nation just the same way that Jewish folks do and Korean folks do, just because we have that infrastructure in place. We've lost the infrastructure. If we had the banks and the businesses, everything else would come back, and so would the Love and Pride. I know it's a convoluted answer. I'm trying to rush, but the short of it is, I feel like I'm part of a black nation every day because I make sure that I support a black business every day. We can't, and I think a lot of us are black only at the conferences, not the people in this room, but a lot of us are only black in the conferences. And if you really go out and find a way to go to a black business or make an appointment with a black professional, or just think about this, or make a call or do something that's about black pride, black economic empowerment, you feel black all the time. I mean, I have my black card. This is probably one of the best black cards in the country. If you walk around with a black bank in your wallet, you'll feel that pride. You'll feel like you're part of a black nation. And I do that, and I live in a community that's only 20% black. But I shop in that black community. I'm always with black people. My kids see black business owners every day, all the time. They're with Miss Bernie right now at the Multicultural Dance Center. I mean, they're with black people all the time. So it doesn't matter where we live, it's what you do in your practice, in your life, and in your home. I gotta go, guys. I got some books left. If y'all would buy some books, the money doesn't go to me, it goes to our foundation. It'll be really nice for you to we have about maybe 10 books left. I'm hoping that y'all won't make me stuff these books in my bag and get on this plane. So my flight leaves at 3:30, so I really, really gotta go. So please, I want to have the conversations. I love talking to y'all. I just can't. Please, if you can, buy a book. And then I promise you, I'm coming back to Shreveport. I love you guys. Thank you.
All right, folks, let's give Ms. Anderson a big round of applause. I want to thank you guys for hanging around for the end of the day. We got to do what I consider the most important part of this event annually, and we do our business awards. This year we have expanded it. Not only are we going to do our Business Legacy Award, we're going to do the Emerging Business Award, because the backdrop of this year's event was to make sure that we included more of the millennials. There's some cry about including the millennials, so we're going to do such. So we're going to start with the first award. First award is for an emerging business, and that's a business that's been in existence for at least 5 years. And we had a couple of nominees. We had Giant Construction with my good friend Flukas. What was his other company name? That's a misprint. And then the second nominee was Fab Events. And the winner is Fab Events. Miss Christian Reed, come on up, Miss Reed. You want to say a few words?
I just want to thank anyone who has ever attended Words of a Latte, sponsored Words of a Lattes, spread the word, brought somebody else, anyone who's ever booked Fab Events for any type of event that you have done. You are the reason why I'm able to be in business for 5 years, and this award is for you all. Thank you.
And our Business Legacy Award, we did have a few nominees. We had Roy W. Lester Realty, Jerry's Barbershop, Louise Fashion, and Reuben Real Estate. And to get an to win the Business Legacy Award, an entity has to have been in business for 25 years or longer continuously in the city of Shreveport. And this year's winner, Reuben Realty, James T. Reuben. As Mr. Reuben approaches the stage, his dad was a unique businessman. Not only did he sell real estate, he drove the school bus too.
Well, first of all, giving honor to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, I'd like to thank you for this award, and most of all, thank my ancestors. Most of you know the history of my family with Red Circle Grocery Store on Line Avenue, and good friends with Reliable Cleaners, Deacon Riley. Those are the people that instilled work ethic in me, and I'm passing that on to my family. And I have my oldest daughter working for the family business now, so that will continue. But most of all, I thank the Lord for his guidance. Amen.
All right, folks, we want to just thank everyone for coming out and attending the 4th Annual State of the Black Street Report. We want to thank Ms. Kirsten Holmes, who's been a gracious host for this third panel discussion with Maggie Anderson. She does a beautiful job, and you see her every morning on Channel 3. She's doing a bang-up job over there. Give her a round of applause. We want to also recognize our sponsors, which are Centerpoint Energy, African American Chamber of Commerce, some Minority Suppliers Institute, the NAACP, my good friend Lord Thompson, the Rand and Cawthorn Law Offices, Oppenheimer Funds, Wallbridge, Caddo Parish Commission, Dream Keepers Academy, White's Printing, Christian Services, Abounding Faith Temple, Susla, and Willis Knighton. I also want to thank all of our committee members who served with us this year, Tanita Baker, Versal Clark, Fred Davis, Darren Dixon, Kevin Hoover, Kristen Reed, Sylvester Marshall, Lord Thompson, Belina Cawthorn Turner, and Linda C. Sargent. So this concludes this event, but I hope that what was learned today, what was taught, that we can take it on and move on down the road with it. You will be hearing from us in email, television, and other outlets. What we're trying to do today won't just stop today. We're going to be doing our missions with the historically black colleges and universities, the investment fund, helping our kids over at Green Oaks, Booker T. Washington, with ACT Prep and Shreveport Ghost College. So stay tuned. We love you. And most of all, stay black.